Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to correctly fill and test your new RC shocks. For this video we're using 5000 CST oil. These are the new shocks I've bought for my car, and we're going to show you the correct way to fill them. If you take the cap off your shock, you'll see that there's a bladder, and the bladder, if we get one I've taken off earlier, the bladder actually goes down into the shock a couple of millimeters. So you don't want to overfill your shocks, otherwise your shock will lock and not work effectively. So I've got my 4 shocks here and I've filled them different amounts. So you want to fill them a couple of millimeters below the top of the shock body, just to allow for the bladder. As you can see, I've overfilled this one intentionally, just to show you guys what happens if we overfill it. These two are probably about right. This one's a little bit underfilled. So what you want to do, guys, is you want to take your oil. I won't bother showing you this because everyone knows how to fill up a shock, but just take off the top caps of your shock. Make sure you don't lose your bladder. Fill up your oil into your shocks, leaving a little gap for your bladder. And then what I believe is the correct way to do it is, once you've filled it up with oil, you want to just cycle the shaft up and down approximately 10 times. While you're doing this, you want to make sure that the piston inside the shock body doesn't go above the top of the oil, so it always stays in the oil. And what we're doing here is we're just trying to push some of the air that might be trapped in there or under the piston out. So just push it up and down approximately 10 times. I like to rotate the shaft left and right just a little bit, just to give the air every opportunity to get out. And once we've done that approximately 10 times, just put that back. This is just a shock stand I made out of wood. Just bodged it together. It's something I use, got different holes for different shocks. Once you've done that, guys, another thing you can do is you can just gently tap on the shock body, just to try and ease any air out that might also be trapped in there. And once we've done that to all the shocks, cycled them up and down approximately 10 times. Once you've cycled them, you want to leave them ideally in the stand for around 4 hours. The thicker the oil, the longer you want to leave it. So if you had a lighter oil, you might be able to get away with leaving it a shorter time. I'm using a relatively thick oil, so you want to leave it a good couple of hours and give it every opportunity to for the air to come out, and then come back to it. So what we'll do, guys, we'll leave these here for a couple of hours and then we'll come back to it. One thing to mention, guys, is when you're actually filling the shocks up with the oil, slower the better. You just want to fill them up nice and slowly, so you don't, if you fill it up, if you fill them up really quickly, there's a chance you could get more air in there. So just fill them up nice and slowly and you'll give yourself the best chance of getting as little air in there as possible. Right, guys, the shocks have been sitting here now a couple of hours. And they're good to go. So what we'll do is we'll just put the caps back on and just show you what we're looking for. So let's start with this one. Let's got the torch on. See there, guys, the shock there, hope you can see that, is correctly filled. It's leaving enough room for the bladder, because the bladder will extend down into the shock once the cap's on. So what we'll do is put the cap on this one, the bladder's in there, and then give it a test. It feels really nice. The more oil you have in there, the more the shock will rebound. So ideally what we want is, we want the shock shaft to rebound out approximately a quarter of its length, so probably to about there in an ideal world. So that indicates there's probably a bit too much oil in this particular shock. What we'll show you guys is this one is overfilled. Actually, it looks like there's still air in there. If you encounter this problem, guys, with air still in shocks, basically you just got to leave them longer. I only left mine about an hour and a half. I didn't have time to leave them a full hours. But rest assured, after the fact, I've done this again. I left them overnight and there was absolutely no air left in the system. So just leave them long enough and the air will come out. I will show you guys is if they're overfilled. So what you see there, guys, is if the shock is overfilled with oil, it's causing a lockout, so I can't actually extend that damper. I can't push that damper in any more than that. So what we do is take the cap off, just let a little bit of oil out. Check the level. Looks better. Put the cap back on. And then test. See, that one's still locking. Better, but it's still locking, which indicates there's still too much oil in the system. Shock oil. So we need to let a little bit more out. A little bit more out. Don't let too much out at a time. Nice and tight. Let's check it now. So it's a lot better, but still can't quite get full motion of that shock. It's almost got like a harsh bottom out. So we need to let even more oil out of it. See, that's miles better, guys. Look, you can see now I'm able to push the shock all the way in. It does rebound more than I'd like. They do say that if you've got too much oil in there, it'll rebound more than about a quarter of the shaft length. But I don't mind a bit of rebound. Keep the car in contact. If you're running a crawler, you want as little rebound as possible. I think if you're running on grass or a bit with holes where the damper's constantly reacting, then rebound isn't such a bad thing. So guys, I hope that's helped you. It's just a brief tutorial on how to fill up your shocks with oil. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Be sure to check out our other videos, guys. We're currently doing a competition and I wouldn't want you to miss out, so go check that out.